once again. What's up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys with a nice deck profile from the OCG. So, if you're not too familiar with the Princess Cups, the Princess Cups are held in Japan. They are all female only duelist events where female players can play each other, and deck lists and everything are shown from the OCG. I just wanted to note that some of the OCG stuff that we do get from oh, this water's hot, um, from the OCG sometimes are not translated correctly, or some cards are actually missing out, which is also funny because in their pictures they show practically almost every card. Sometimes it's hard to see cards because there is glare and stuff like that. So we try our best here in TCG and probably in other portions of the world to figure out these decks as well when we talk about them. But we got to start it off because I'm going to have two videos for two decks from the OCG that are featuring Princess Cup winners. The first winner, of course, is my favorite go-to, the Harpies, and the winner of the 34th Princess Cup, Tokyo's 34th Princess Cup, to be more precise, so we can have that together. I will leave a link to this in the description box below so you guys can see all of the fancy shenanigans that is the Princess Cup deck list, if you guys want to check them out yourself. So, I will read the corrections in the cards that need to be corrected in it for this deck list, and then I'll go over it. So, for the monster lineup, there's 3 copies of Harpie Perfumer, Harpie Channeler, and Harpie Harpist, 2 copies of Harpie Queen, 2 copies of Cyber Harpie Lady. 2 copies of Harpie Lady 1. I'm sorry, not Cyber Harpie Lady. There is a copy of Cyber Harpie Lady. There's a copy of Harpie Dancer, 1 copy of Iron Dragon Tiamaton, 1 copy of Artifact Scythe, and 2 copies of Maxx. For the spells, there's 1 copy of Harpie's Feather Duster, 1 copy of Harpie's Hunting Ground, 1 copy of Elegant Egotist, 3 copies of Hysteric Sign, 1 copy of Alluring Mirror Split, 3 copies of Card of Demise, 1 copy of Double or Nothing. For the traps, 3 copies of Harpie's Feather Storm. This is actually in correction. They called it Harpie's Feather Duster, and it's actually supposed to be Storm. 2 copies of Hysteric Party, 2 copies of Solemn Strike, 1 copy of Solemn Judgment, 1 copy of Back to the Front, 1 copy of Artifact Sanctum. And then for the extra deck, there is 1 card missing from this extra deck, and it happens to be number 93 Utopia Double, who's not added in this because this is 14 out of 15 of the extra deck monsters. It is Great Fly, Winnie the Wind Charmer Verdant, number 39 Utopia the Lightning, number 39 Utopia, number 39 Utopia Double, Harpie Conductor, Babushka the Terribly Tired Tape Eater, Tornado Dragon, Lightning Chidori, Castell, Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, Abyss Dweller, Gaga Cowboy, and Starving Venom Dragon. So that is the lineup for both the main and the extra deck for the Harpie deck that won in Tokyo's 34th Princess Cup. So let me talk about this deck as a whole. This is more of a variation of control. It does rely on the effects of Card of Demise and Maxx for its draw power. There is no Harpie Lady Sisters, Harpie's Pet Dragon, no Tempest, so it's going very aggro with rank 4. This is something that a lot of Harpie decks have a great advantage of. Is we're one of the very few level 4 oriented decks that has the support it can to reach into a level 7s to go into a rank 7 combo, or go into a very fluent and very sufficient rank 4 level 4 engine, because we have access to cards like Harpie Channeler, Harpie Perfumer, the effect to search with Harpie Harpist. We have, of course, one of our biggest boss spells, Hysteric Sign. We have Hysteric Party to really get a lot of the massive summons going. We have Elegant Egotist, and a lot of just the big combo plays with us. So as I was looking through this, I actually had to look up 2 of the cards from it. The first card is the Iron Dragon Tiamaton. So this is a monster that focuses on columns. If there are cards in your opponent's column, you can social summon this card from your hand. When this card is social summoned, its effects read that you can once a turn, you can destroy all other cards in the column that this card's in, and then neither player can activate uh, can activate cards in the column that this monster is in. So it is a way to pretty much stop a lot of cards, force cards in certain slots to not be activated. And it's a pretty big heavy hitter as well. 2,000 attack, 0 defense. I believe Dark Attribute Dragon. Dark Attribute Dragon, level 4. So it gives a lot of the generic level 4 plays. With Channeler into Perfumer, it gives Perfumer her additional ability to search for 2 instead of 1, because Channeler will be level 7 instead of level 4. There is the odds around that, because you can, of course, exceed with Iron Dragon, and you can also, Harpie Conductor. There is no barrel swords, no barrel loads, primarily because I think it's just going to focus on Utopia being one of its big hits. Which Utopia can be in a lot of sense, because we have the double or nothing strategy, as well as the strategy of, we have the double or nothing strategy, or we can take on Utopia the Lightning for an easy come up. Now, the best thing about dealing with a lot of the level 4 engine is you can spam any level 4 monster, rank 4 engine, level 4 engine, is you can just smack in a ton of support monsters that are rank 4, and a lot of utility cards that are rank 4. You don't see a lot of them here, because probably this player was focusing on a lot of things that if you can OTK, because kind of that's what the new thing with Harpies is for most players, is to OTK your opponent, going into Utopia the Lightning, and having his Harpie's Featherstorm to back up against cards like Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs, Maxx in the OCG, a lot of RTCG hand trap setups, Ghost Bella and her Haunted Mansion, having to deal with the effects of, what is her name? Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, if some players are still playing her. Mainly Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. And just a lot of those nasty other effects that you don't want to deal with, that can prevent you from either searching, using your monster effects, and stuff like that. Then, looking at the artifact setup. So we have Artifact Scythe, we have Artifact Sanctum. Artifacts are actually a good conjunction with Harpies because of Harpie Conductor and her ability, because Conductor can destroy a spell or trap on the field that you control when you monsters are to be destroyed by battle or card effects. So you can take advantage of that scenario by protecting your Harpies with Conductor's ability, and then having access to destroying Artifact Scythe, which forces your opponent to not touch their extra deck. And then you have Artifact Sanctum, which blows up stuff if it's blown up. So you have that utility and that setup there. Now, I want to just talk about the Card of Demise and Maxx. So there are 2 congruent draw cards in this deck list. The crazy thing is, because of how power setup this deck is, Maxx can actually help recover from Card of Demise if you play it correctly. Say, for instance, because you really have to work about this, you have to be very careful of one thing, and that is that if you play Card of Demise, you cannot draw. You're going to draw up to 3 cards to have 2 cards in your hand, but the downside is you're going to lose your entire hand during end phase. So there is no generic way of picking up Maxx. However, if you can set up your board to defend yourself, and then you can get into a Maxx, that's like legitimately the only way. Otherwise, if you don't draw into one engine of draw power, you at least have the other one to back you up. Maxx can easily help back up with a lot of decks like Summon Mangrate, Thunder Dragon, and stuff like that tend to special summon left, right, up, down, and sideways. And especially considering the fact Harpies don't have much of a negation in terms of outside of Featherstorm. You just have to try to use as much of it as you possibly can. Well, they do have negation, but it comes in various cards. And one of the other various cards, of course, is Triangle Ecstasy Spark, But you need Harpie Lady sisters for that, and that can be a problem for most players because some don't want to run sisters. There is the rank 7 engine, but you have to either run Tempest and or um, Harpie's Pet in order to really get that out of Channeler. So yeah, that is those downsides to it. As far as the Harpie engine itself goes, the standard lineup of 3, Channeler, Perfumer, and Harpist, because those are pretty much the bigger sets in the toolbox engine for the Harpies. The double Queen is probably here to search out for Hardened Ground or to be a good fodder for Harpie Channeler, as well as the 19B stick if you just want to go for straight beatdown. Harpie Dancer and her bounce back ability to use the effects of Hunting Ground, as well as Harpie Channeler's effect. Harpie Conductor's effect. You have Cyber Harpie Lady to be an additional beat stick. We've already talked about the last 3 monsters, so we move on to the spells. A lot of one-ofs for the Harpie setup. Harpie's Feather Duster, Harpie's Hunting Ground, Elegant Egotist, Alluring Mirror Split. Primarily due to the fact that this deck is running Card of Demise, so with less cards in your hand that you have to not worry about losing, you don't have to force yourself to run Harpie Oracle if that's not, generally part of your consent of wanting to run such a, run her for her effect that is staggering itself, because you gotta wait to the end phase, and then you have to get a specific card that has Harpie Lady Sisters in this hex to add it to your hand. So for most players, it's probably just a dead setup for them. Then we have, because I'm not a big fan of the Card of Demise. I'm just gonna verbally say that. So that's also a main reason why you won't see me playing Card of Demise, because I'd rather just play Feather Rest and just have my chances with that. Double or Nothing is a card, like I said, with the Utopia engine. It's to make a monster whose attack has been stopped double and then allow it to attack again. I think this is primarily just to help with the Utopia setup. I don't know much about Utopia double except for its ability to search for Double or Nothing, because I'm actually still kind of waiting for my copy, which still has not came yet. So, yeah, I pretty much demise in um, Double or Nothing. Alluring Mirror Split, pretty much, the Harpies are destroyed in battle. You summon a Harpie monster with different names from your deck to your field. So that helps you get more monsters. Then you have when it's destroyed by a Harpie card effect or destroyed by opponent's card effect, you summon a Harpie monster from your graveyard, so you have some more there. The one Harpie's Hunting Ground still puzzles me because 2 Queen, 3 Perfumer, that's about it. Oh, Hysteric Sign. Um, so yeah, Harpie's Feather Duster. You have Harpie's Feather Storm to help you retrieve that. You have the search. You have the ability to search for it with Harpie's Hunting Ground. Still one of the cards that Harpie players are looking forward to having come back, so we can utilize Harpie's Feather Storm's effects. Not just one, not 2, but all 3. Um, Elegant Egotist is a fast way to summon more Harpies to the board. And Hysteric Sign, of course, one of the most broken Harpie cards in the game. The fact to search for Harpie cards from your deck with different names and add to your hand. So an automatic, of course, is Harpie's Featherstorm to help you deal with the hand traps. Channeler, Conductor, Perfumer, Channeler, Dancer, Queen, any variation of Harpie Lady. Yeah, you just got a ton of cards you can search for. There's both spells and traps. It's a must-have at 3. And then we move on to the traps. Of course, Harpie's Featherstorm, Hysteric Party, Solemn Strike, Solemn Judgment. Back to the Front, I believe, is a card that allows you to summon a monster who cannot be normal or summoned or set, I believe. I'm actually going to look this up real quick. This is Back to the Front. To the Front. Yeah, target one monster in your graveyard and so summon to the field. Yeah, so summon in defense position. So it's just you can just play Monster Reborn. Yeah, you just play Reborn. Oh, I guess because Scythe has to trigger through his own effect. Yeah, what do you back to the front with Harpies? I guess an Exceed monster, if it's worth it. But I don't know. I could have found better options than backs to the front. Maybe a second Sanctum to take advantage of Sanctum's effects. Judgment and Strike are pretty much negation. Feather Storm is a negation as well. I want to know who mixed that up. It's supposed to be Feather Storm and not Feather Duster. Someone really wants Feather Duster back. And of course, Hysteric Party, the biggest summon card for the Harpies, to get a lot of the Harpies to the board. And then you can go into your Exceed plays, your Link plays, and stuff like that. Speaking of Links and Exceeds, we got to talk about this extra deck. So, Great Fly, 500 additional attack and defense to all your wind monsters. When it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard by battle or card effect, you have that searchability. You have the recovery for any of your wind monsters in your graveyard added back to your hand. You have Winnie, the Wind Charmer Verdant. This is a card that I still, unfortunately, don't like because I think it's very lackluster. It's kind of like Hita, the Flame Charmer Ablaze. It's pretty much just swapping fire for wind. Then we have Earth coming out soon. I wouldn't be surprised if Water, Dark, and Water, Dark, and Light are the only ones that don't have their familiar possessed forms. So it wouldn't be. Their Wind Charmer insert variation of name here form yet. So it'd be nice to see them. The Utopia Engine I've already talked about. Conductor. She's not protecting your Harpie monster, showing a Harpie card. She is doing all her crazy shenanigans as being the Harpie Link monster. Babushka for the stall. And just to slow down a lot of your opponent's card effects. Tornado Dragon, Castel, and Chidori are great removal cards. A big massive removal in the forms of Exciton Knight. The Ever Faithful Servant, Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. Really good with, getting a lot of these monsters to the board. You link, you overlay, you go into Phantasmal, and then Phantasmal is just like, no. I'm going to attack you directly. I'm going to sit there, and you're going to like it. Dweller to deal with the graveyard, Cowboy for that additional burn, and the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. This is really an out to a lot of dark decks. We don't see a side deck here, but I wouldn't be surprised if cards like it's one of those crazy little fun gimmick cards. The one that says if you destroy this card, your opponent destroys this card by battle, or this card is removed from the field, you can banish it and then special summon a monster from your extra deck and ignore its summoning conditions. So you can summon some pretty big heat. And maybe Starving Venom Dragon is one of them. Because Starving Venom Dragon is a really good monster against a lot of things in the game. So, yeah. My overall opinion of this deck, just looking at it, is it's very control aspect. There are a lot of hits. There are a few misses. But the Princess Cup is just like any regular tournament. You focus on what ideas and strategies that player might have had, and you go from there. So if you guys want to see this in your own, I will leave a link in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And let me know what you guys think about this Harpie deck profile, in your opinions. Well, not what I was thinking, but what you guys think about this deck list. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will catch you guys next time. HPJ signing out. Take care.